anything around. Hello everyone. We're back once again with some more Eldritchrune stuff to do on this Sunday morning. Hello. Thank you for coming. Always gotta push all my stuff around in order to reach my keyboard. Yes, we are once again in the ad zone. Oh, well, we'll wait till you're out of the ad zone, and then we'll talk. Beyond ad zone, we got things to do. Mostly backgrounds to do. See if I can get into the swing of it. I probably should have done a warm-up first, but I was sleepy. I was eepy. Ugh. I'm sure the thing's gonna pick up a whole bunch of stuff. And the final day of the 48-hour challenge. Does that mean 24 hours remain? Just like in Zelda? Soon you'll be free. But yes, today, yes, we're back with backgrounds again, but I am expecting these backgrounds to go kind of quick because they are not that extensive. They're very small because it's going to be crowded with characters. Oh, less than 24 hours remain. 7 hours left. Yeah, these backgrounds won't take that long to do. So if I manage to jump through them really fast, then we will move on to some character fill stuff again. Things are tight at the moment. Not the video stuff. I hope my feet are doing okay. I bought new shoes yesterday because my old shoes were just absolutely falling apart. I really had to throw them out because they were getting holes in them and everything. So I need to break in the new ones. A bit of walking around. Hello. Thank you for coming. Hope you're doing well. Again, these backgrounds will probably go pretty fast in case I manage to finish all of them. Today we got character fills we can go back to as well. Because this is mostly this part is mostly character stuff happening, so there's no space to put backgrounds. Yeah, how about that Digital Circus yesterday? Or I guess Friday is technically when it came out. I didn't watch it until yesterday, though. That was crazy. I'm really wondering where they're going to go next with it. With one episode left. I know. Malevolent AI torturing people. It's like, uh-oh. Especially since, I guess it's kind of implied that Kane is kind of based on a real person's brain. It's not, he's not like a Gen AI. He's kind of a copy of an actual person's brain, which I guess is also the case with GLaDOS. The Doom board energy, yes, that's very much, okay, we're gonna play until you like it. Also, I totally missed this the first time. The I have no mouth and I must scream reference. I missed it and somebody pointed out. I was like, wait a minute, that's right. It's right there. We know what we know what we're referencing, what we're pulling from. Yeah, extremely doom board energy. Just like, yeah, we've been having fun. No, I could actually torture you too. By being programmed with someone with an abstract brain. I'm wondering about that phrasing. How, a character, going off the deep end is called abstracting. And then Kinger describes Scratch as having an abstract thinking, abstract brain. And I'm like, okay, they were clearly supposed to connect these two thoughts. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, heck, there's also just the name Scratch, which is an interesting choice because one that can give the thought of some Homestuckian thoughts of a disc scratch, but mostly like scratch is a term for like the devil, which I guess then leads to the digital hell kind of thing going on. The names have meaning. Oh yeah, he's got talent. He's got pipes. The creative brain kind of took onto it first and all that kind of stuff. I'm also wondering, I don't know, I saw it suggested that like basically everybody who's in the circus right now, except for maybe Pomni or something, is like, okay, why are they hooked up to this system, this apparently pretty old system that is still running for however long. Like how did they get into that situation kind of thing. And I don't know, I saw it suggested that they basically might be this because Scratch was also in trouble health wise with cancer and stuff like that, that basically everybody here is like in some kind of hospice care or something, or like in a coma. They're already in a coma. They already suffered some kind of trauma, and basically they were hooked up to this to keep them alive for somehow, like keep their brains operating, so that they wouldn't be lost to that. Because there's stuff like I don't know, like Gangle having this thing where she keeps getting hit by a truck, or Ragatha is scared of knives being thrown at her, kind of thing. Yeah, that's true. Oh, still so much we don't know about Jax. Oh, I haven't heard the song enough. I need to listen to the song again because it was such a fun song. Great villain song. Everybody loves a good villain song. Was surveilling a building? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Kinger we know was like a programmer who got stuck there, but I'm really wondering about all the others. That can be a very difficult thing to translate, yeah, especially a speedy song like that. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I mentioned, like that looks like it would have been so much fun to like animate and storyboard and all that stuff like that. You just get to really cut loose and do whatever crazy things you can think of in terms of animation. It's very fun. You don't get to do it nearly as often as I wish we could. But a musical number is a good place to basically do whatever the hell you want. Cut loose and be wild and wacky. Use symbology, all that other stuff. I just realized this is ice. I need to put that on a separate layer. Oh, that was such a freaky moment. The Jax getting his skin pulled off kind of thing. Just, ooh. He does not like being exposed. I mean, I wouldn't either in that situation, but ooh. As a joke, oh, that's so interesting. Little did we know. Yeah, I should really rewatch it and see what else I missed. And I think I mentioned this to a few friends elsewhere, but I'm kind of getting the impression, okay, like, is Bubble the other AI that Kane absorbed, basically? So I didn't even see this when somebody screenshotted like all the code that Kinger was working on for me, and I still somehow missed it, that, like, there's something in the code saying, like, kill Kain, kill this guy, kill this motherfucker kind of thing. Which is why the whole, you know, delete him code suddenly got pushed, even though Keener wasn't trying to do that. Yeah, so maybe not technically called Abel, but basically still like a brother that was killed by, you know, by Kain. Hello, thank you for coming. Oh, interesting. I mean, definitely I feel like it's worth it just for seeing, you know, Alex Ruffin's voice for Kain is just so good. I think all of the voices are pretty strong, but obviously people really like Alex's voice. Kind of showbiz announcer guy. It could be. Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, I really liked the whole opening sequence where we have this, you know, very basic shape symbology kind of thing of like, here's these two AI kind of thing. And this is how they, this is what happened with them. And we did this with, again, very basic shapes. But what that might actually look like in practice is a whole nother issue. It's a weird idiosyncrasy. We're used to seeing these, you know, characters as characters because they're presented as characters. But again, Kain is not a human. Kain is a program. It's not going to think the same way as a human unless, again, it's like a GLaDOS situation where we base this program on an actual brain. Which I feel like oftentimes for this kind of stuff is kind of necessary, just especially with real world stuff being like, oh, actually, like, actual AI just really can't compete with a human brain. They keep trying to sell the fact that it can, but it really can't. But so making a computer program that basically copies a human brain feels like the easiest way to like get a proper independent AI. Huh? Bubble says the two and not us two. So what is the deal with Bubble? We're gonna have to like deal with Bubble next time. It's gonna be the real final boss. I do find it very interesting how people have kind of like, for the most part, Bubble was kind of written off as like, okay, this weird little like sidekick, little pet, and even this last episode, it's like, oh wait, there's something going on here that like we were just not privy to at all. Oh, the two, not us two. I don't know. Yeah, you always were the lesser of the two. I mean, maybe if Bubble is still like the remnants of the other AI that was absorbed, like it's not going to think of itself, you know, as part of this equation anymore. It's something different. Yeah, like Bubble's not really like the old AI, just kind of like a remnant of it, what's left of it, and it's otherwise pretty much like gone because Kain absorbed it. Which basically, that's still a pretty powerful AI that, you know, they made it, you know, try to teach it stuff, then quarantined it, and it still managed to break out of that quarantine and, like, take control of the other AI. Yeah, it seems like if anything, like, the consciousness, like, whatever was left of the original AI, like, that's just with Kain, especially with the red and blue eyes. Which, that's a pretty freaky thing. Subconscious thoughts would be interesting, yeah. Oh, so many questions. Oh yeah, we're gonna tear through these backgrounds so fast. These are gonna go speedy like. So whatever was left of other AI, it was pissed because it was yelling at Kinger to kill Kane when Kinger didn't even mean to do that. During Untitled, it was just blah. Oh, that's wild. It's Ali in TDD form. Ooh. I also just realized, okay, if the circus is now like broken apart, if the code is no longer working, then what's going on with the people that were previously abstracted and left in the basement? Like, can they just get out now and go wherever they want because there's like nothing really stopping them anymore? They'll just have to write their own code for that. You are the programmer now. That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it's basically a question of, yeah, can they even go back to the real world now, or are they stuck there forever? And if they're stuck there forever, then it is going to be a matter of, you know, making their own fun, so to speak. But yeah, what are we doing with people that were abstracted, and what are we doing with, you know, what whoever the person was that was egging on Kinger and trying to get Kane killed, basically. Yeah. I wonder how long the next part's going to be. It feels like there's so much stuff to cover. Like, can you do that in half an hour? That's crazy. They must be already fairly far along in production, though. Yeah, that's true. They did set up that scene. Oh yes, please do watch the series. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, it was so funny yesterday. I was out shopping with a friend because we had to get a bunch of stuff. Or I had to get a bunch of stuff like new shoes and clothes and blah blah blah. And a friend was coming along for emotional support. I'm like, you know what, let's go stop in Hot Topic. I haven't been in there for a while. Let's see if anything catches my fancy. That'll be kind of fun. And immediately we go in and are just immediately hit with, like, a table of glitch merchandise. It was, like, Digital Circus and COG and Murder Drones. Just immediate, like, first thing you see was Digital Circus merch. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I was just thinking about that. I didn't get any in particular, but it was right there, front and center. How do we get the pure crystal? Yes, I know everything that's going to happen. I'm just the rando that's tapped into Toby's brain. I'm so smart, whatever. Susie takes a soul and she turns it into a skateboarding game, and then we skateboard over, like, the night, and, everybody gets saved. And also, you, the player, get... Kris comes out of the computer in real life and hits you with a newspaper. There, I solved it. All the circus members come together. Huh. But it's going to be so hard to form any kind of consensus on stuff because they couldn't even do that, like, with Kane trying to mitigate it, because Jax would always just, you know, throw a wrench in things. Yeah, go watch a Digital Circus. It's so fun. No, there was Invader Zim. There was actually a whole corner with like Gur stuff. The kids still like Gur, and there was a bit of Nightmare Before Christmas, but there was a lot of glitch merch. Again, that was the front and center stuff. The Gur stuff was off in a corner. The front and center stuff was Digital Circus. What surprised me was no FNAF stuff. I didn't see any FNAF. Guess that has fallen out of fashion. They voted for Jax being vegan, true. The world will be all pretty if we can just make Jax vegan again. Jax is like, no! Was not censored only in the Hindi dub, huh? What? And what did it say in Hindi? Also, man, they must translate those really fast if they already have a lot of dubs out for that. Good grief. Oh, well, you can't say that. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure there was also some, like, Has-Been and, some Has-Been and Hell of a Boss merch as well. Which does make me happy. I like seeing the independent animation is getting its flowers and stuff like that. Honestly, it kind of has to. Like, I don't think people realize, like, animation is so expensive. It's so expensive and time consuming to produce. Like, the show I work on, at the point I work on it, when I do boards, usually the finished product I don't see until, like, a year later. Over a year later. And that is with hundreds of people working on it. It costs so much time and money to make an animated show. So basically, the reason why you're seeing all this merch for, like, all these independent animations is because that's how you fund it. You either need somebody with a bunch of money bankrolling you, or you need to sell merch. You have to do it. It's just not viable otherwise. I wish we could just have, a bunch of wealthy benefactors that are like, sure, we'll just put a bunch of money into this and you can do whatever you want. That would be wonderful. But unfortunately, we do not have that, so you got to sell a lot of merch. So I ended up buying a Knights of Guinevere pin for my pin board because I'm like, oh, I love Knights of Guinevere, so I got a pin. I ain't gonna be sad about supporting little indie animation. Yeah, that's true. Basically, the whole reason why, like, regular studio animation gets bankrolled the way it does is because the expectation is that they will make that investment back through merch and toys. Certainly, the reason why I am employed is that this show the show I'm on is definitely designed to sell toys to kids, to basically treat kids as an investment in these properties, so that they'll buy toys and go to the parks and stuff and spend money. That is why they bankroll this animation, not for its own sake. So indie animation has to do that as well. That has to sell toys. Yeah. I loved Knights of Guinevere. I'm so excited they're doing more of it. Especially, like, if you have at all worked for Disney, especially if you've worked in the Disney parks, like, COG definitely rings true. Just the whole sense of, like, you're kind of stuck under the thumb of this terrible capitalist, like, force of nature nightmare, but at the same time, like, the reason why you're there in the first place is because, like, oh, this had such a big impact on you when you were young. You, like, really believed in the ideas here. You, you wanted to be a part of something that was special to you. Even while we're recognizing that now that you are a part of something that was really special to you, it's just, it's corporate awfulness. And kind of like balancing those two things. And I don't know, I think the thing I really like about COG is that it shows how not just, artists and workers are hurt by, this capitalism machine, but, like, the art itself, the character itself is also enslaved to this machine. So it's like, instead of Mickey Mouse being like, haha, I'm evil, it's like Mickey Mouse is also, like, chained to this evil. So I'm excited for more COG. It succeeded with Zootopia in China. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't, like, of course they've done some Zootopia merch, but I'm surprised they haven't done more with the parks with it. Maybe they just need time. I don't know. The parks are its own separate thing. Format was absolutely mock the company. Mm-hmm. Absolutely mock the company. Semi mock the part. Pseudo respect for the original films and shorts. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. That's perfect because basically, like, Princess Guinevere is like Mickey. I wish I was a dentist so I can rip out everyone's teeth and keep all the candy to myself. Oh, that's so funny. I think Bubble can say that, or can they? Yeah, I really don't understand why they did Animal Kingdom stuff with Avatar and not their actual animal movies. I don't know. It's weird choices. The parks are definitely this whole separate deal because I know somebody who works for the park, so actually I think I know multiple people who work for the parks, and they're not treated very well, I'll say that much. It is ridiculous amounts of work that you do not see good pay for. Yeah, Zootopia would fit better with Animal Kingdom because most of what makes Zootopia fun is like animal puns. The movies are just full of animal puns. That's what makes the movies really good. At least Bug's Life is also Animal Kingdom relevant. Yeah, I'm excited for more COG. I'm excited to see how Digital Circus ends. Although I'm not surprised that Gooseworks is a little fed up with the fandom and might want to take a break from it. In which case, I'm like, Gooseworks, please learn from like Toby and others. Do not engage with the fandom. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You don't have to outsmart them. You don't have to prove certain people right or wrong. Just put your art out there and then vanish. It's the only way. There's like a threshold you can hit in terms of like you can keep interacting with a fandom. And that threshold is probably different for every property. Like for fan stuff like I'm doing, like, yeah, I can still interact with people, but if there was like my own original thing that took off, I would probably have to reach to a point where I'm like, okay, I just have to put it out there and I can't talk to you anymore, which would suck, but you have to do it for your own health. Yeah, it's a skill. It's a skill. You have to, basically curate this thing of like, don't talk to my fandom for my own health. Yeah. And even then, like, I can tell it sucks because, like, at least from what I can tell, I think Toby really wants to interact with the fandom. He's used to doing that because that's what he used to do back with, Starman.net and even Homestuck and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure that he wants to interact with the fandom, but he's smart enough. He's figured out, I can't. If I do, bad things will happen. That you really have to just kind of deal with that. And it sucks, but it's true. If Jax wasn't presented as the protagonist at first, but he's the one Goose gives so much focus on. Yeah, it was kind of crazy that people were like, oh, Jax has too much focus. I thought we would talk about Jax way more in this episode than we did. I thought this might be a thing, maybe Jax is going to abstract in this episode. Didn't do it. There's definitely something going on with him. Like, I really want to know why he specifically was, like, freaking out when Kinga was like, oh, yeah, I'm the one that helped program Kane and stuff like that. Like, that in particular seems to be like, wait, what are you talking about? So I want to know what Jax's deal is regarding that. But, yeah, he wasn't dealt with nearly as much as I was expecting. Yeah, it's frustrating. Like, as an artist, you want to, make sure you're being understood. Sometimes you want to engage with the fandom. So, maybe this was Goose having to learn, okay, I can't do that. I just can't do that. Oh, that's a bit much. Can we just do Martlet hugging Kris? Even though the Slurpees are everywhere, that's probably a bit too extensive for like one doodle. I can do Martlet hugging Kris though. Although I'll have to do it after my stretch break because it's stretch break time for me. Okay, we can do Martlet hugging Kris. All right, as soon as I do that, but it is break time and I'll do it after the break. We'll come back to the I'm blazing through this. We'll get through the backgrounds easily. Which Toby and fandom dog? I'm not aware of this. Yes, it is a big door. A lot of big doors in this area because they're in the thing. Was this something with Undertale or Deltarune, or like Toby's work prior to Undertale and Deltarune? Yeah, I haven't heard of this at all. I'm sure there's some kind of stupid call-out doc or whatever, probably some Kiwi farm people being like, how can I, make drama out of this? Yeah, but I've never heard of this, so apparently that did not take off. Doc my mind. Oh. Dust up notable critique for Deltarune that aims to be negative. Okay, that's fine. People can critique whatever they want about something. I'm not going to agree with it, but sure, whatever. Sure, whatever. Didn't like, it's like 90, I hate that. It's like, okay, if you want to make a good faith criticism, that's fine, but yeah, you can't do bad faith criticism mixed in with that, then it's just not any good. Not any good. Wasn't there like, I don't know, the person who did the universal mother theory or something got a bee in their bonnet about chapters 3 and 4. It's like, actually the game is horrible now, which, whatever, dude. I love chapters 3 and 4. The game's only been getting better for me with time. I feel like if you're posting something really long, Twitter's the wrong place to do it. Well, Twitter's the wrong place to do anything, but... Okay, I don't want to read a bunch of personal rants, though. It's like, alright, if you have those feelings, that's fine. But also, like, your feelings are not Toby's fault. When you put art out there, there's always, like, it's impossible to please everybody, and it's kind of bad if you do. There's always going to be somebody who's, like, doesn't like it and is upset and is going to let you know about it, and you just got to take it on the chin and be like, alright, not for you then. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, like, what, like, if you're going into this for, like, intense gameplay, that's probably not what you're going to find. That's not its strong point. Its strong point has always been, like, the character writing and, thoughts on the themes and stuff like that. On the plot, on the emotional charge of this particular kind of storytelling. But I'm sure there are better games out there in terms of, like, gameplay and stuff like that. Heck, I would say Portal is a better game in terms of, like, sheer gameplay, in terms of, like, as a puzzle game. Really making you stop and think, and using gaming itself as, as a means of a puzzle. So there's better games than that out there for just quote-unquote gameplay. Yeah, I left Twitter a long time ago, too. Too much of... I just don't think that's true. I don't think he's really designing things for fans. I think if that were the case, then people's theories would be more accurate, and they're not. I think he's doing what he wants. Not committing to a game mechanic? I guess it depends on what you call a game mechanic. What do you mean? And then Scott Cawthon tracks the fit. Like, Scott Cawthon's whole deal is that he would change things about the game, about the story, in real time, like, as it was being talked about, for the fans, and that's why the story is such a shit show. Like, what are you talking about? Scott is like the poster child for I'm going to change the story because of what the fans and theorists did. Like, you got these backwards? Bizarre. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch and water and we can keep chatting. Alright, I am back. Back. Yeah. Minor fraction. Yeah, that's a lot of bad faith criticism. Oh my goodness. Also, hello, thank you for coming. Sorry about missing the start. It's okay, we're just doing backgrounds. Yeah, I can see a thing of like, okay, especially the Geno route is kind of like, a slog on purpose. Honestly, I think that the fuse mechanics, the fuse items mechanics, that's going to be what's going on with the pure crystal. People are like, oh, what is the pure crystal going to be used for? I think there was somebody did a theory video on this, and I pretty much agreed with it. What we're going to be doing with that is fusing one ultimate weapon for one of the main characters. Because we already know that, okay, pure crystal is supposed to be fused with a thorn ring for Twisted Sword, which is kind of weird, especially because stats-wise, it's not really that great for Kris. That's for one item. But I think that it's not going to just be for the thorn ring, it's going to be for, like, a wide variety of things, and you will have to choose one. Like, basically, you can fuse it with Kris's, broken shard thing for one item. You can fuse it with the Justice Axe for Susie's ultimate weapon, and then especially if we get a Rouxls only boss fight and Rouxls gets a special scarf or something, then we'll be fusing it with Rouxls scarf for a different thing. And you're just going to have to choose, okay, who do you want to have an ultimate weapon? You can only pick one. Yeah, I assume we're going to get more stuff, like, especially before we jump into Chapter 5. We didn't get that much in 3 and 4. But yeah, in terms of like, okay, what are we using the shadow crystals for? I think it's that. I think it's to forge an ultimate weapon, but only for one character. And what that weapon is and what it does will depend on who you make it for. Yeah, Metaverse died, lol. Yeah. I think we'll probably have to stop by Castletown first, before going on to our Chapter 5. Dark World so we can hopefully get some more weapons and stuff, and then we'll have to stop by again after that Dark World so we can do another fusion dance thing. That's right, he needs the Master of Bread. He can't fuse items until he has the Master of Bread. Will anybody from Chapter 4 be a good Master of Bread? I do wish we could see that, but alas alack. Maybe that's a bit too much spriting, but it'd be neat. I do always like when people make fan art of like the various weapons and what they look like. That's always pretty creative. I think that looks really neat. They nerfed the twin ribbon. No, you can get the spin cake now. That was patched in. They patched in the spin cake. Because people complained about, why can't we get a spin cake for Chapter 4? And yeah, that was in the most recent patch. You can get it now. So that at least was fixed. Because I think that was a mistake. That you couldn't get a Chapter 4 spin cake. Like, there's only one thing and it's disgusting. I mean delicious. Yeah, the dog for gore. Making games is hard. It's fine. It was patched in. I think what it was more than anything was it seemed like Chapter 3 was going through so many different iterations, and they were like trying to figure out how to pace it down properly. Because they were originally going to do like 3 boars, and then a bunch of the content for Chapter 3 was scrapped when it was like, okay, this is getting too long pacing-wise. We can't do all of this. Yeah, also the hitbox for the night being a little janky. Nope, that was oversight. They patched that back in. So, I'm glad about that. I don't know, I wouldn't blame them for having a phobia of white dogs. This dog is out to get them. Out to get them. What was the one post Chapter 2 update? I don't remember this. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever say the game was unstable. It seemed pretty solid. It seemed pretty solid to me. Have I seen Project Hail Mary? No, I haven't. Although, I kind of want to read the book. I heard the book is good too. And I was like, oh, I need new books to read. So, I'm hoping, right now I'm because I usually check out books from, my local library, or audiobooks from my local library to listen to while I do chores. Right now I'm going through the Joy Luck Club, because I never got that in school, and I was like, okay, if they have an audiobook of Project Hail Mary, I'm going to try and check that out after I finish Joy Luck Club, because I'm like, okay, that looks interesting. So, I haven't seen the movie. I'm really bad about seeing current movies. I gotta go more often. But, because it's probably the same person who did The Martian, isn't it? So, I'll either see the movie at some point, or I'll check out the book. Shivereth my timber, you little bimbo. Something about room saves being a bit more likely to have an issue? Huh, I don't remember this at all. I'm wondering if I should replay 3 and 4 before Chapter 5 comes out, but I've also got so much stuff to play, and I'm scared about facing the night again. Also, I feel like my playthroughs are pretty solid except for missing the moss in Chapter 3. I do at least have saves that have all eggs and all the shards. Oh, cool. I'm glad the movie was good. I'm glad it was a good movie. There's definitely movies I need to see. Goodness gracious. Ugh, I'm so bad about that because I'm usually just like, working on my projects at home, and I need to actually go out and see a movie sometime. Yeah, just regular save points. They're kind of like see-through. I am glad that those were implemented, though, because I think we needed those save points in the light world. It would have been really, really difficult if we couldn't save in the light world, so I'm glad that belief was suspended a bit for the sake of gameplay. Yeah, it's being extraterrestrial from Mars because they just kind of say the Martian and not explain it. I did see the Martian like a long time ago, and I liked it, but I haven't seen Project Hail Mary, and yeah, if I don't see the movie, I'll try and check out the book. Although I imagine if it's popular right now, I'm probably gonna have to wait for it. I'm like, oh, I gotta check out this book from the library, and then I go, and it's like, you are 10th in line behind 5 million people. And I'm like, oh no. And that's the perils of the library. You gotta wait your turn. Wait, where does he quote his Undertale Geno self? I don't remember that. I guess because, yeah, whenever I've played it, I've always just tried to make sure I win, so I do Rude Buster and healing and stuff like that. Interesting. No alien, no Marcianito. Susie's idea. Susie's idea will save the world. How long does Garrison's fight take if you only defend and don't actually do anything else? Because isn't the whole way to progress the fight is that you have to, like, get enough stars over his head kind of thing? Can you just, like, wait it out otherwise if all you do is defend? I actually didn't know that. I thought you did have to heal or use Rude Buster in order to progress. You take longer in the fight, which you only do by defending since that's the lowest impress encounter. You mentioned a hero that's strange and something about there being no prophecy for it believing someone will appear. Oh, okay. Eventually you get automatic stars. Okay, I see. I'm pretty sure I might have seen that dialogue. Yeah, probably because it takes me a long time to get through it because I'm not good at dodging, so I have to stop and heal a lot. He remembers the other lesbian he trained in another universe. Time to find a lesbian in need. I hope we see Garrison again in game. I don't care if it's like, oh, he can only appear in a certain dark world. We'll make it work somehow. Bring back Old Man. We can have a cool Old Man reunion. Hello. Thank you for coming. Yeah, part of me wants to replay the chapters because the chapters are fun. I really enjoyed them. Love the music and all that stuff. And again, I've only been enjoying the game more as it's gone on. But another part of me is like, no, I already have my good files. I'm good to go, and I don't want to fight the knight again. It's really hard. Okay, I see. That's so funny. A sweet Captain KK section. Seriously. It's if I want to critique any part of Toby's writing or gameplay, the sweet Captain Cakes, pretty mid. I've never really cared for them either as characters or as a boss fight. They're just kind of tiresome. It's like, okay, not one of Toby's more exciting creations. There, that's my critique. I did not care for Sweet Captain Cakes. And I should, because I love me some Homestar Runner references, but just as characters, they're just not very exciting. It's fine. They can't all be winners. Beating him full defense nothing with Rude Busters, that's pretty cool. Let's play the same motif 27 times in a row. Are you entertained yet? Yeah, it's very much this song appears like 27 times. It's really intriguing, like, for as limited as your options are in Deltarune. There are still so many different ways you can try and play the game. You can give yourself your own challenges. Yeah, that's another thing. There's nothing super wrong with them. The designs are fine. They're just not super exciting, and also, yeah, their music is kind of like, eh. Which I guess is especially egregious because, like, this is a Toby Fox game we're talking about. The music is probably one of, like, top 3, if not one of the top 1 selling points of the game. So if the music is just okay, then by comparison it feels bad. It's kind of Rock Band Des imagined. I guess so. Des is probably the one that made that Dark World, so her call there. Yeah, again, I did appreciate the Homestar Runner references. I'm a millennial. I have to appreciate that. You think Des wanted to be human? Oh, right. I came all the way back. I totally forgot the thing. Shoot. Sorry about that. I gotta do two requests now. Wah! Here we go. Okay, back to it. Request time. Goodness gracious. My brain just capoodled. Manoodled. Alright, so we're doing 2 requests. Okay. Chiro. Chiro Pamon from Digimon Beat Break. Okay. Okay, I'll do that one first since I don't know what that looks like, and then we'll go back to Martlet. So, sorry about that. We will get those done. Hold on a second. We'll do both. Let's see. Cheer up. Nope, it helps if I can type. Mon. Digimon. Okay. Nope, please remind me. That doesn't hurt to remind me about it. Okay, I'm going to do this one first, and then I'll go back to Martlet and stuff. We'll get them both done. Don't you worry. I was just blabbing away about all the other things that were going on. He's a cute bat. He's a cute bat. Okay. Alright, we'll do this one first, and then we'll go back to Martlet. But also, in answer to a question about Des, I actually am having the idea grow on me that, like, Des either wanted to be human or was just, like, fascinated with humans. And that is why Kris is kind of weird about it. I do not think that she was a human. I don't think that makes sense. And also, it doesn't make sense for, like, Kris's character either. But I can see her, from, like, a characterization standpoint, thinking that humans are cool and that she would, like, you know, want to be more like one, because I think she would see it as, like, basically having more freedom. Like, I don't know, if I had time, I would do, like, a comic of her talking about it where she's like, you know, oh, Kris, you're so lucky, you know, humans can do whatever they want. You know, as a monster, you know, part of this holiday family, I'm expected to, you know, act a certain way. I have to be this, you know, nice person, because that's what, you know, expect of monsters. They have to, you know, act the way that they look, kind of thing. But as a human, you know, you can do whatever you want. You can be violent. You can, you know, you have freedom as a human that I don't have as a monster. So I can see her, like, basically kind of desiring that, and especially being like, oh, you're allowed to be mean, you're allowed to be violent, and I want that for myself. I think that could be a really interesting angle, especially since Kris seems to really struggle with, you know, feeling like, oh, they are violent in some ways. They have uncontrolled violent emotions, and that's, like, a struggle and bad for them. It just prevented people from asking. Just as kind of like a reverse of, like, Kris, where Kris is like, oh, you know, I wish I was a monster. I would fit in better with, you know, my family and not feel so left out and kind of stuff. Whereas Des is looking at this like, Nah, you got it all wrong, dude. You have, you can do whatever you want as a human. I wish I had that. Instead of being like bound to this family where I have to, play this role I don't really want to fit into. So, I think that would be an interesting angle. I do not think she is secretly a human. That is overcomplicating things and just does not make sense. Also, good grief. I just want a decent picture of Martlet. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think definitely Kris felt pretty close to Des. Alright, let's see if we can do Martlet and Kris here. I wouldn't even say that Des was like a human supremacist. I think she just like, humans are cool because they have freedom and they can do whatever they want, and I wish I had that. And I think especially if she was looking at it from the angle of like, humans are allowed to be angry and violent, and I'm not, and I wish I could do that. Which is why Kris has hang-ups about violence. Digibat. Especially if, like, I don't know, like Kris lashed out at Des in a moment of violence once, and like, that's part of what happened, the bad thing that happened to her. So, they're going to have very complicated feelings about it. Yeah, exactly. You can do such interesting stuff. Again, I like Des absolutely idolizing Kris for their humanity, Kris hating themselves for it. That'd be interesting. Bear hug, or in this case, bird hug. Yep. And that indeed might explain things. Why, like, why was she wearing shoes when the rest of her family doesn't wear shoes? Because obviously they were shoes made for hooves, kind of thing. But why is she wearing shoes? Why are all those dang heart pillows in her closet? That was always weird because we know that, Carol is into them. Why are they in Des's closet? Kris is like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kris has something going on to them regarding violence. Even just with, like, how they were with Eram. He was like, oh, haha, I know that parts of you enjoy this, Kris. Again, maybe Eram's talking to the player, not us, but, or talking to the player, not Kris, but either way. They have a hang-up about that. I can basically see, like, a situation where, maybe it was a deal where Kris, by failing to act, that's what happened with Des, is that Kris could have acted and they didn't. Or it could have been a situation where it was Kris's fault, where basically, like, they were young, they were angry, they lashed out, they were violent against Des, and that caused the bad thing that happened to her, and they just feel intense regret for that moment of violence. I know, the egg trauma thing. What's going on with that? What is going on with that? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Friend. The Eggman is such a mystery. Mystery man, you could say. Wait, we'll have to see what we can squeeze in this area. But there we go. Got Martlet hugging Kris. And we got little baddie guy. Miss Baseball training doll. Alright, sorry that I forgot your other thing. I was clearly too caught up in stuff. Next time if I say, okay, I'm going to do it, and then I forget, just remind me. Just don't be afraid to be like, hey, you promised you'd do that. Like, you paid the points. You deserve to have the sketch, so please just throw me a shout. I will not be mad at you. Thank you. Yeah, shoes are pretty hard to put on a bird. Hard to put on hooves, too, which is why it was like, okay, we made these shoes especially for hooves. And I kind of wonder, like, is there a place they can normally buy shoes for hooves? Did they, like, order these online for Des? Because she had a lot of hoof shoes. I mean, part of it might have just been like, okay, she was outdoorsy and she was in sports all the time, and that, you know, is going to mess up your... might even mess up a hoof unless you wear protective gear. So it might have just been because she was so outdoorsy, she wore a lot of shoes. Okay, we don't know for sure if Susie has normal-ass human feet. She might have big dragon paws, too. We have no way of knowing because she has shoes on. She does have a lot of shoes for one person. Then again, it seemed like she just had a lot of stuff in general. It just got stuffed in the back of the closet. She has a lot of stuff. Here's shoe racks. I should probably like go through all of the hometown NPCs sometime and be like, okay, what's the ratio of like monster, like how often do monsters wear shoes compared to how often it is? It's probably like a 50-50 split or something. Depends on what's easier to draw. $70-30. So is it 70-30 don't wear shoes to 30 do wear shoes? Yeah, it does seem like in general, like Des just went through her items really fast. She was just not careful with them and broke them. Yeah, Monster Kid. Sometimes, especially like in that sprite style, it's like we're not spending a lot of time on the feet. Oh shoot, these should be on a separate layer. Alright, go have a good lunch. Get over here. And this layer, thank you. Yep, unlike me who just threw my old shoes away yesterday because my shoes had holes in them. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep wearing these, especially in the rain we've been getting. So, got new shoes. They're pretty nice. I actually got some Vessies, not just because the YouTubers told me, but I had real life friends who were like, no, they're actually really good. You should get some. So I'm like, okay, real life friends, I trust you. So I got some Vessies, which probably will be useful because yeah, it's been raining a lot lately. There's a lot of water, So waterproof shoes would be good. You can always wreck a doodle. Yes. Request a doodle. Yeah, I guess that is true. She kept everything the kids had. But it does seem like in general, Des just, you know, was not very careful with her belongings. She would just break them often, and they wouldn't get tossed. They would just get piled up in the back, I guess, because they had room for them. Des's room is such a treasure trove of environmental storytelling. Like the colors compared to the rest of the house, the music, the various items all over the place. It's so interesting. I think it's possible. Like in just strictly in terms of characterization, if you were to be like, okay, if Carol thought the only way to bring her daughter back was to sacrifice herself, would she do it? I would say yes. I think that's possible. I do not think it would be Noelle. I do not think she would exchange Noelle for Des. I don't think that is possible for her. I don't think she'd do that. I do think she would trade Kris for Des, especially if Kris is the one to offer first. if Kris is just feeling, you know, absolutely wrecked about what happened and feels responsible and is like, I'm gonna fix it, I promise I'll fix it, then yeah, I do think that Carol would encourage that. Okay. Do Mr. Cursor. Let me see. Let me grab that link and I will pull that up. Let's see. Look, apartments NPCs. Oh, that's a weird looking guy. Interesting. I don't remember this guy at all. Fascinating. Oh, we're going to put him over here. Mr. Cursor. Maybe, since he's so skinny, I should probably put him right here and fill this space. That's just kind of like... I feel like this is the kind of guy I would see in like a really old school Sesame Street animation. Yeah, does Mr. Cursor know Mr. Hacker? He's such a weird guy. What a fascinating guy. I can't even quite tell what he is, but this is probably the most Toby Core design of them all so far, for whatever that's worth. I don't believe in the whole Toby Core thing. Just make whatever NPCs you want, but this is it. Oh, sorry, that was the link I got. Is it a different guy? Did I do it wrong? Is there another guy? Handlord. Oh my goodness, you're right. You're right. Never mind. I can do it again. I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. Here's Mr. Cursor. Okay, let's try that again. Let's do that right this time. Here we go. How about we pay attention to the links that are given to me? I just drew the first thing I saw on the page. Whoopsie-doo. He still looks like somebody you would see in a Sesame Street animation, though. And he does still fit in this area, so perfect. I'm Mr. Cursor. Okay. The other guy was kind of wild, though. Here we go. Trans Azrael asking out Mr. Cursor. He's fine with it. Oh, that's right. That's right. It does turn into a loading circle, doesn't it? Alright, here we go. Here he is. Sorry, I screwed that up first time. Cuts off his speech while it's the loading circle. That was a good gag. Alright, wow, we got a couple of ones this one. We're filling the page out. It's going, it's going. Oh, actually, I think I gotta stop and take a stretch break. Goodness gracious, time flies. Alright, we're almost done with that. As long as you pay for my nachos. Like, I have a vague memory of this NPC. I have to go back and play Undertale Yellow again and see if I can't find him. But again, another good design. Everybody loves Mr. Cursor. If you download a different cursor from like Bonzi Buddy or whatever, does his head change again? Now, yeah, I guess you can see you get the idea from like those diamond-headed monsters that kind of look like loading loading wheels as well. Those are always weird designs. That's true. If you could design one minor NPC, what would it be? I mean, I feel like I would kind of just put my little griffin guy in somewhere. The smaller version. I don't know. Other than that, I could probably come up with a better design than that. It's just something, a weird little guy. Go back through some old sketches I've done and find something I like. I've been trying to do waking up drawings again, so can always pull something from that. I'm kind of wondering if I should try posting those again. I'm just not sure where. I started it back in like 2022 or 2023, and then I had to stop when my wrist went bad again, so I'm trying to get back to them. Bonzi Buddy. Okay, that's really funny. Oh, I know what Green Giant is, but Bonzi Buddy. You're just a virus, or I guess it's surveillance kind of bot or whatever back in the old days. Yeah, what's with the one random dancing guy in Dark Sanctuary? Oh, I'm gonna miss the request while I'm sketching! Okay, you're gonna need to send me a reference for that then. Please send me a reference. Okay, thank you. And a lot of art doodles today. Now's the time to do them. Now's the time. Alright, this time I'll try to remember when I get back. More doodles to do. Don't forget, I'm with you on the doodle page. Yeah, we're getting a bunch today, which is all good, because I know otherwise it's kind of boring backgrounds, barely anything happening in them, but we are blazing through them pretty quick. We'll probably finish them in quick enough time. Quick like bunny. We only got like 4 pages left to do. Goodness. But yeah, that's to be expected. This part is short on backgrounds, long on 10 million characters in scenes. So that's where it's gonna take forever to draw. Twice, I gotta do stretches. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch and orange juice and stuff. turn. We're back for more. Let's see. And I'll look for the rest. Okay. Alright, I'm trying to look at these refs. Let's see. This looks like an Adventure Time character. Thing like that. Hopefully I'm getting that right. And oh, she's supposed to be crying? Oh, sorry, I missed that. All the references I looking at were happy. Trying to figure out how to do this hair. Good grief. Yep, it's a lot of doodles today. Doodles. No. Okay, I guess how do we portray meat falling into fireplace? Okay, I see. Oh no, the meat's got ruined. I had that kind of happen to me once on a camping trip. Wasn't very fun. I just realized we had two things of Undertale yellow characters hugging Kris. That's pretty funny. That's rough, buddy. Oh. No, it's not fun when that happens to you. Alright, there we go. More stuff added to the pile. We'll get plenty of Undertale Yellow on this page. No probalo. Thank you for doing the sketch request so we can continue to fill up the page. I don't think I've drawn Gardener yet, actually. That would be a fun one. Gardener has a great design. Wait, do they not have it on the wiki? Why wouldn't they have it on the wiki? That doesn't make sense. I got plenty of like designs for it, I imagine. Oh, Gardener's there? Okay. I was about to say, huh? Huh? No, I don't think I've actually drawn Gardener yet. I do not think I have. I don't think it was part of like my... I did a bunch of Undertale Yellow art back in the day, and I do not think I included Gardener in that. Maybe it was on like a other sketch thing, but I don't think it was. See, I have not... That would be a new one for me. New and improved. That was always a fun concept. I do find it interesting how like almost all Undertale fan games do a lot more with like the concept of robots in the underground. Like Undertale's kind of brief mentions, oh yeah, Alfie's built herself a big robot. That can happen, and you know put a monster soul into it. But basically, yeah, that's how we're gonna do with robots. People are like, we can do more with robots. We can do plenty with robots. Okay, cool beans. Stairs! I know these don't match up perfectly. Sorry, this is going to be a very chaotic background. Nobody's going to be looking at these stairs. Until somebody's like, those stairs don't make sense. I'll be like, no! Yeah, that is true. Steamworks was fun. I'll never get over the fact that Steamworks is also the name of like a brewery chain in Vancouver. But in the actual game itself, it was really implemented well. And I love the music for that area. Aesthetically, it was cool. Good choices. It's Mechanical Turks all the way down. It's not like fantasy robots. I wonder if we ever will have fantasy robots. Truly autonomous. Probably not. It's hard. Right? Making a robot is hard. Turns out people are like animals and people are complicated machines of biology. Yeah, that's always a fun one. It's like, okay, if you are a robot created for a certain purpose and then you are abandoned, it's like, well, then you have to make your own purpose. And that's a fun concept. Oh, that's true. Like, what do you do with a robot darkener? Like, how does that count as an object or does that count as a person? Fascinating. Yeah, that's exactly it. The whole reason why all these like stupid billionaires are like, we want to create AI, we want to create robots and blah 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 singularity. It's like, my dude, you just want someone that you won't unionize against you. That's all you want. You want a slave race that, you know, won't demand sick pay and vacation time and work-life balance. And of course, the problem is, as soon as you make a robot truly autonomous, truly able to do things that a human can do, then the robot's going to be like, you know what, I want sick pay and vacation time. I want to unionize. That's when you know they're human. That's when they can be like, actually, this sucks and I refuse to do it. You can't make me, na 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 na. Now, you may have made me, but you can't make me. 'Cause, 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 toy train become an anthropomorphic train or a real train? Oh, that's true. I guess it depends on how you play with it, because it is still like the imagination bringing it to life. Yeah, I used to play with toy trains when I was a kid. Or we had like little Brio trains. So I'm like, man, how did we treat those trains? I think we treated them more like characters than we did like a train. Kind of more like Thomas the Tank Engine kind of thing. Yeah, the real Turing test is unionization. The robot. We love you, robots. People like robots. They like robots in terms of like, hey, here's a other person, not like something that's going to steal all my work. I don't think a CEO could do much with Dark Worlds because the whole point is that you have to use your imagination in order for it to work, and they don't have any of those. They stopped using theirs ages ago. Worthless. You have to be able to be creative in order to do a Dark Fountain. You have to imagine what you want. Oh, good grief. I hate that game. Like, thank you, David Cage, for somehow creating, like, the world's most unrealistic, like, robot uprising thing. It's like, oh, okay, we're now at, like, 30... No, it's something like 50% unemployment. Like, 40 or 50% unemployment. I'm like, excuse you! Like, where is the, the massive government uprisings from the humans? Humans are just like, oh, I guess the robot took our job. We're gonna be homeless now. It's like, that's not how that works. Yeah, seriously, like 30-40%, please. It's just, it was such an unrealistic take on like how that would actually work out. Plus, of course, suffered from the usual David Cage-ness of, I'm going to be really creepy about women in this game. Have I been creepy about women enough? Well, I'm going to be more of a creep about women. Do we have a scene yet where a woman is molested in her underwear? Well, we better add that in. Thank you, David Cage. More polygons is more emotional. More emotions. I remember that. Emotions. Yeah, David Cage has always been kind of creepy towards women in his games. It's not great. But also, he's not good at world building either. And the mentally disabled, yeah. Oh, good grief, that was awful too. All the best parts of David Cage-mans are like the unintentionally hilarious parts, like Sean, Jason, Sean. Nobody gets those jokes. I make them now. Everything. Yes, he was also behind Beyond Two Souls. So, again, history of being creepy towards women and also all minorities. He did Beyond Two Souls. He did Heavy Rain. So he did the Sean one. He did Indigo Prophecy, which is just insanity. And then the first one, he was being a real creep towards Elliot Page too, so also transphobic. Well, I guess at the time Elliot hadn't come out yet, but still he's being a creep. And then there was Omicron, which is just, oh my goodness. Okay, I'll tell you what. You know what people are all like about with the weird root of like, the player was, sexually assaulted Noelle in the weird route, and then Toby immediately like changed that because like no, that's not the implication I want. That's what they do in Omicron. In Omicron, that is what happens. The player sexually assaults a woman in that game in like the first 20 minutes because David Cage is a massive creep. I'm not even kidding. The weird root thing happens in Omicron. Like, when I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, that's what happens. The player sexually assaults a woman. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Okay, thank God Toby changed that. Thank goodness, because, ugh. Please don't emulate Omicron, Toby. Oh yeah, no. The problem is nobody remembers it because like nobody played Omicron because Omicron sucks. But no, if you have not played Omicron, and please do not play it, it sucks ass. There is literally a situation, and again in like the first half hour or whatever of the game, where it really is you, the player, are sexually assaulting a woman. And it's not even, like, presented as, like, a sexual assault. It's like, oh, isn't this weird and creepy? It's like, no, dude, it's just bad. It's just really bad. Yeah, thank God Toby is goated. Oh, my goodness. Unlike David Cage, sexual assault in game is bad? Must be the lack of polygons. Yeah, it's pretty awful. The game is much like, you know, Deltarune is much more subtle about, okay, what you, the player, are doing kind of thing. That Omicron flats out states, oh, yep, you, the player, are possessing this player character. You know, that this is your soul is in the player character now. And also, you're just gonna go to this character's house and have sex with his wife, but it's not him. It's you, the player. You're doing this. Oh my goodness, it's so creepy. Yeah, you body hop every time your character dies, and it's really inconvenient because, like, certain characters have certain stats, and some of them are, like, way better than others for certain situations. So you can just, like, accidentally get your character killed in a certain situation when you needed it needed, like, their stats for something else, and, like, you can just never get them back again. Once your character is dead, you have to body hop to, like, somebody else. Yeah, and there are times where it's just, like, a guaranteed death fight. And it's like, well, you've thrown away that character. They're dead. Like, it's such a weird, bad game. Such a weird, bad game. Oh, I don't know much about Watch Dogs. Don't know much about that. I can't get over how weird Omicron was. I'm so glad nobody remembers that game. It's such an exceptionally bad series. Which is why I'm kind of like, please don't give David Cage the benefit of the doubt. Please do not. Yeah, it's so weird. It's such a weird game. Ha ha ha, you are now a prostitute. You didn't have a say in this, by the way. That would just... Whoever happens to, like, show up nearby... The one I really do not like is, I think it's towards the end where basically you have to, like, possess what's kind of supposed to be, like, this weird alien minority. Like, it's, I don't know what they're getting at with, like, this is the fake, you know, ethnicity we're kind of aping with this alien guy. But basically you have to possess this guy in order to, like, use one of his animals, like, his, like, bantha-looking animals in order to cross a certain area, because you have to cross on a certain animal, and then, like, as soon as you're done doing that, like, you have to kill him immediately. So basically, like, you possess this poor guy who's just here with his little, you know, bantha animals, whatever, that he takes care of, steal one of his animals, and then kill him. And it's like, oh, you're the good guy in the situation. Like, heck off. It's so bad. So I guess if the people really, you know, wanted things to get weird between the soul in Noelle. Like, may I recommend David Cage's Omnicron? Actually, I don't recommend it because it's bad. That's all you want out of a game. There are other places to get that, I guess. Gosh, I can't believe I remembered all that. Wild, wild, wild. Okay. Oh, right. Forgot about this part. Okay. I know. I think we might be able to do it with Susie. Again, I think if there's anybody else... Oh, again, Noelle in the weird route. I can see it happening with Noelle in the weird route. But... And then Susie in the normal route. Yeah, the idea of doing it at the cost of... No, it will cost you Noelle and Kris. Ah... I think it'll be very bad if it happens with Noelle. And yeah, I think it might happen with Susie. And if it does happen with Susie, it is going to be a situation not where, like, yes, we're controlling her, but we're not really in control, if that makes sense. I do really like the idea of, like, basically Susie taking advantage of us as a tool to do whatever the hell she wants and break the game. I think that'd be a very fun. I don't even think she's the Cage necessarily. I think she's just, like, again, taking us on as a tool, and we're controlling her, but we're also not in control. I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, ugh. I mean, I'm not playing the weird route at all, so I'm gonna leave you all of that and tell me what happens. See what terrible, terrible things go down. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I imagine, especially, like... I especially imagine the climax of Chapter 5 where it is going to be pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, Susie trusts Kris now, but I do think that in the future, like, probably, like, end of Chapter 6, I would say... Susie will be taking the soul from them, which will be us, and using that herself. And that's where things are going to get a little wacky, because Kris is, like, the analogy I keep using is, like, we are basically a blowtorch for the characters, and that we are this tool they can use, but we're kind of dangerous if you're not careful. So Kris is trying to, like, treat us like a blowtorch, keep us under control, use it without... They're trying not to get burnt, but it's really hard. You know, they've been trying to practice. Whereas Susie is like, this thing is fire. I'm gonna burn everything down. I like, screw the rules, screw safety. I am setting this whole place on fire. That's the analogy I keep coming back to. Yep. Oh, I'm curious, yeah, if it makes a difference if the knight was fought or not. I am definitely going to do what I did last time and ask for time off of work so I can set aside time to, you know, play it as soon as it's out and try and absorb everything, even though I know there's going to be stuff I miss on my first playthrough. Like, my first playthrough is Chapter 3 and 4. You know, I missed the secret bosses on both chapters. I missed the eggs, blah, blah, blah. But there's a bunch of stuff in general. I'm so bad at finding secrets. I have to have other people show me where to find them. I'll do my best, but even just experiencing, like, the main game, that takes some time. So, taking my vacation days at work so that I can set aside time to play. Although I kind of I'm hoping it comes out, like, mid-July. That would be really ideal for me in terms of, like, my work schedule and also my birthday. So... I'm personally gunning for a mid-July release. I don't think it's coming out June 19th. I'll be a little annoyed if it's June 19th, honestly, because that's still a bad place in my work schedule. July would be ideal. Yeah, that'd be on break kind of thing. Yeah, I'm thinking July is more likely. Yeah, I guess with school it's a little tough, but like work you should be able to, like, I'm taking a vacation. You don't have to know what I'm doing on my vacation. That's not your business. I know sometimes, I did take a week off to play Kingdom Hearts 3 and they asked, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm going to Disney World. Which was only partially true. And then Kingdom Hearts 3 broke my heart. Oops. Oh well. And technically, I only need a day to get through a Deltarune chapter, but I'm gonna need more time afterwards just to like absorb it. I could not sleep after finishing chapters 3 and 4. I like laid awake at night like. Yeah, sometimes it be like that. Let's see how GTA 6 goes. Ugh. What's the Dragon Quest thing? I should play Dragon Quest sometime. Speaking of. Twice raised on day 1, 4 on day 2. I couldn't wait. I tried to do both chapters in one day. I probably should have spread it out a little bit because I was exhausted by the time I got through chapter 4. So I'm kind of glad we're going back to one at a time now. Even though I'm sure chapter 5 is going to be pretty long. Just one chapter to deal with will be plenty. The government bans a school day release of Dragon Quest because it would lower productivity. Oh, that's funny. Even if that is a rumor, that's a funny rumor. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think stuff usually gets released around weekends anyway, just because you're imagining, oh, people are done with, the school week or the work week. They want to do a fun thing. Here's the fun thing, come get it. Oh, that's got to be fun to sleep on at 1 a.m. I miss Spamton. I didn't even go to his shop the first time I played Chapter 2. That's how out of the loop I was. I missed the Spamton. I was very weirded out by him, and people were like, oh, he's a secret boss. I was like, oh, okay, huh. But also, like, I think the way that I did Chapter 2 was a little bit not great. We were trying to play it simultaneously with like everybody in the server, and that ended up being way too chaotic. So for chapter 3 and 4, I was like, okay, I'm just doing this myself solo. I'm not doing this on stream or anything. Then we'll do stuff together on stream later, and that worked out a lot better. Oh, that's interesting for Frederick Knudsen. I am kind of curious about the Backrooms A24 movie, how they're going to do that. I hope they don't do too much with like, and then there's a monster in the back room. Oh no! Like, I kind of like it when it's like just the creepy liminal empty area aspect of it. Yeah, at least when I played Chapter 3 the first time, I got to ERAM because it wasn't that hard to S rank the boards, and I wanted to find that stuff. But I didn't beat ERAM. I just kept getting stuck. So I'm like, okay, shoot, I'll have to come back to ERAM later. And then did not beat the knight, obviously. 9 souls. That's pretty impressive, though. Secret bosses every first playthrough? That's impressive. Again, I'm not good at finding the secret stuff. I still don't know how anybody found the Chapter 3 egg. How did you do that? That's crazy. I know, I was pretty scared about doing all that, because when I was first playing, I'm like, I don't want to kill these guys. Why do I have to do that? Ugh. Felt so squeamish. It was really interesting. I was watching Lauren the Flute's playthrough, because she's taking her time with Chapter 3. And she didn't get the S rank on the first board, but she did it on the second board. And went to go check it out. And then as soon as she saw that you had to kill things with the sword, she just refused to do it. She just completely backed out, like, had Kris die. And then you can back out of it that way and just refuse to do the sword route at all. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That was a very interesting take I hadn't seen before. These people are like, okay, I guess I gotta do this now. And it's like, well, you don't actually have to. You can, in fact, walk away. You miss stuff, but you don't have to do it. So that was interesting. Very principled, yes, yes. I have to run a second save. I know the first time I walked in, I'm like, what, the Spampton theme, huh? Also, the thing that freaked me out was, like, going into the area where all the controllers are, being like, what's this behind the curtain? And seeing a manhole, and so like, oh, there's a manhole here, and I'm like, I know a manhole is from the weird route. What is it doing here? I haven't played the weird route. What's going on? I'm just getting those weird route vibes, even though I had never played it. Uh-huh. My sins are catching up to me. The whole you got the ice key moment, the reason why I did a fan art of that, because it was just such a creepy, creepy moment. Why is the weird root manhole here? I really do wonder how all of this is going to play out for people that, like, do not do the weird route, especially, like, the ARG. The Spampton ARG is going, like, is like, oh, how long did it take for her to smile kind of thing. And I gave an answer, and I'm supposed to move forward with that answer and all that, but I have not done the weird route in any file, and I don't intend to. Is there, like, something we're supposed to get from this that we would use, hypothetically, in a weird route file? But then, like, what would I even use it for if I've never done weird route and I don't intend to? Also, I think I need to take a stretch break. Stretch break time. Yeah, what's the Z rank room? Will that get you onto the sword route, like via the manhole? Is that how that works? I hope it's just for extra world flavor. It's fascinating. I definitely don't think you should depend on an ARG in order to do anything in-game because, you know, a limited number of people have been doing that. So if there's something you're supposed to enter somewhere in-game and you haven't done the ARG, then that's not very helpful. But if it's just extra flavor for whatever's going on, then that's interesting in of its own right. Z-Rank is a dump implied to be spanned in an old room that takes you straight to the backstage game area. Fascinating. I did love the dissonance between, like, oh yes, go into the special S-Rank changing room, and you get there immediately, it's like, and stuff just falling off the walls, and you're like, huh, okay, what am I doing here? Womp, 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 womp. Also, why is Cactus back there? The Sundara cactus that loves us. But we'd be like, dang, I want the cactus to participate in this dark world, but I can't make it work. Yeah. I'm born, right? I think we'll find out in Chapter 5. I think they're going to be Darkners. It's just going to be something a little bit different. And I think the fact that we haven't seen what the plants look like is hiding. Maybe they're going to look pretty different. Humans, monsters, everyone. That includes plants, flowers, and cacti. So yeah, especially if we're going to Asgore's shop, I think we're going to get a very interesting, weird little situation. It's definitely being telegraphed that, okay, Asgore talks to his flowers all the time and tells them all his secrets. Now we're going to a world that, you know, will bring things of imagination to life, things that have memories of, what's happened previously, depending on how you treated them as objects. So I think we'll be getting flower darkeners that will be a little bit, maybe along the lines of like, how Garrison is a Dustner, a non-sentient object. It'll be not quite the same as like, an object brought to life, but similar veins, I think. It's like a bit of a blurry area because, definitely like a playing card is an object that does not have its own personality except for what you give it. It's a non-inanimate object, but a plant is a living thing. It is alive, even though you cannot, communicate with it or speak with it or ascribe a personality to it. But we'll see. It'll be really interesting. Sentient object infused with will, who is neither human nor monster. Haha. Oh. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and stuff. Alright, I'm back. I guess that's true. And like, I just realized that's something I kind of answer in like Paper Trail that I don't think ever gets answered in Deltarune so far. Like, where do regular animals fall in terms of like a lightener or a darkener? I kind of imagine that like, if you brought like a pet or an animal into a dark world, and they would basically kind of become more like monsters, and that they might still be animals, but they would be able to talk and stuff like that. Their personalities would come out a bit more, because like, okay, if you apply the powers of, imagination to a normal animal, especially a pet or something like that, usually what you end up doing is like talking for them. You kind of ascribe what that animal would be saying. So I imagine that's what would be happening If you brought a normal animal into the dark world, they would, for the most part, stay as an animal, but they would just be able to talk. And share their own thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. Yeah, I wonder if that will ever be touched on, ever played with. It's frustrating because, like, we know that normal animals exist in this universe, but they just don't, like, there's none in Hometown. We don't see any. They are only discussed. They're never actually seen. You gotta wonder, like, how the holidays feel if, like, you know, you see a deer in the forest and it's like, huh. Maybe it's the same way that, like, we look at monkeys or whatever. Like, yeah, that's an animal. It doesn't count. Oh, please keep watching more. The episodes are very good. And no, I don't think Jax is supposed to be sympathetic. He's not a nice person, but he is an interesting character. And there's clearly something going on with him that he needs help with. But no, he's still mean. But sometimes it's fun to like a mean character. Sometimes people are like, heck yeah, I love that mean character. And I certainly loved Susie back when she was still pretty mean in Chapter 1. But Jax is definitely a lot. Jax is kind of relentlessly dismissive and mean to everybody. He's fascinating. I'm curious to see how it'll go in the future, but he is a lot. Let's see. This is a terrible angle to do with this, but we'll make do. Yeah, again, newest episode, pretty cool, pretty fun stuff. But you should definitely catch up first. Catch up. What was the previous episode? Episode 7? Yeah, that one itself was pretty like, ugh. They just get more and more intense as time goes on. I also want to know more of Zubal's backstory. I like Zubal. She's fun. I love the moment in the most recent episode where they realized, oh no, they can swear. Oh no, what does this mean? Yeah, Zubal might be one of my favorites. Okay. Makes sense. I'm sure people who talk about animation would have a lot to say about it, because I certainly do, and I'm in animation. Well, I'm having fun with it. Yeah, Zubal's grown on me. Like, I already like Zubal quite a bit, even though, like, she kind of, you know, nopes out of the first few adventures, so we don't see a lot of her, but she is, the more we've seen of her, I'm like, oh, you're fun, Zubal. I want to know what's up with you. Yeah, she does take a while. Because she sits stuff out for a while. She's like, nope, I'm not doing that. Bye. And I'm pretty sure Gangle, super relatable to a lot of artists, that sense of like, oh, I really wanted to do something creative and instead I just got stuck in, you know, dead-end jobs kind of thing, which is real and legit fear. I'm trying to remember what happened in episode 3. Didn't they also sit out episode 3? That was the horror one, wasn't it? Yeah, I feel like that was kind of more Kinger's episode than anything, since we actually, you know, saw him getting, you know, hang out with Pomni a bunch. They had the therapy with Kang, that's right. What is that scratching noise? Is it the mouse again? Mouse, are you plaguing me? Oh my goodness, yesterday when I was in the kitchen, the mouse ran right at me. It ran right at me. I'm like, mouse! Ah! Stupid mouse. Why are you making weird noises on the wall? And the pest control person said he can't to wait a little bit and come next week. Dumb mouse. Yeah, they do have that moment of the struggle for their body, stuff like that. It seems like in general they have extreme body issues, since the torment that Kane chose for Zubul was being surrounded by body parts. Oh my goodness, I hear weird noises clicking. It must be the mouse. The mouse. It's in my apartment. Stop your weird clickety clacketing. Oh my gosh, it seems so loud. I know you guys probably can't hear it, but I can hear it and it's bothering me so much. I yell at this unseen creature in my apartment. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming to the stream. We are working on some backgrounds. I'm yelling at the mouse in my apartment. We're discussing the Amazing Digital Circus, because that came out recently. But I'm mostly working on backgrounds for Eldritchrune ending stuff. These ones are going pretty fast, because it's mostly just like a blank wall. But I still need to get done so I can start the characters for them. But I hope your day's going well. I hope your day's going better than the mouse in my wall! I swear, I hear like this tapping. It's like scratching, tapping. I'm like Des lost in the code, being like, I hear scratching. I can hear it. Oh no, birds! In the vent. That's scary. That's okay. It just takes practice. Make my landlord go in the walls and get it. Shrink yourself down. Go into the walls. Get it. Backgrounds just take practice. Like, backgrounds aren't my favorite thing to draw either, but for a while, one of my jobs was doing background design for some animated shows. And just because I did that for about, a little under 2 years, I just got kind of used to, like, okay, I gotta have a background. This is how I'm gonna do it, kind of thing. It's good. So if you just practice it enough, you'll get the hang of it. Now I can't help but do them. Oh no. Well, if they were in your vents and they didn't survive, you would probably know because it would smell. I hate to say it, but that tends to be what happens. Like, at my parents' place, they've had a rat sometimes in the past. Even though we've had dogs, I don't know how rat would do that. But they never actually saw it, but they knew it was like getting into stuff. And it died in the walls, and you could tell because it stank. Like when it was rotting in the wall, you could smell it. So if you didn't smell anything, you're probably okay. But if you smelled something in the walls, then it might have died there. Oh, you just started drawing? Okay, I just want to say I'm really happy that even though you started with AI, you're trying to do it yourself. That's really great to hear. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I promise you, whatever you do will be better than like AI scrape stuff. I promise you this for sure. And I would say, basically, if you are new to drawing, like if you're just getting into it, don't worry too much about like, oh, does this really look good? does this look bad or whatever. Don't worry about posting stuff online. Just, yes, we love it when people are trying things out for themselves. It's so much better. Do not worry about, how good it is, how bad it is. Just do it. What you want to do first, when you're first starting out, is just learn to love the process. To not worry about, oh, does this look good for other people? Does this look good for a teacher, whatever? You just got to learn to love the process of it first. That's usually why, like when I was a little kid, that's when I started drawing. And, nobody told me how to do things. I just did them, and I tried them, and I practiced them and stuff. And there's stuff I had wished I practiced more at the time. Like, I didn't really practice humans very much. I mostly drew animals. That's why I do furry stuff mostly now. But, it cultivated that love for it. So that's my recommendation. Don't worry about, what people might think or if it's good enough. What you want to cultivate right now when you're first starting out is just loving the act of drawing itself. And once you've got that down more and more, it'll be a lot easier to practice things that you're not as good at. Because you will enjoy the process of drawing itself. Exactly. It's going to be bad when you first start. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What's important is, again, that you are actually doing the act of it and doing the process of it. And if you are enjoying that, that's literally all that matters. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'm honestly kind of like, I'm glad that I grew up like I wasn't a kid when the internet was around. When I was first drawing, I was doing my own comics like on paper in the corner of my house. Most people haven't seen those because I didn't put those online, because we didn't have online when I was a kid, because I'm old. But basically, I just did them because I love doing them. And that, more than anything, probably just helped me be able to keep drawing, even to the point where it damages my wrist now. But, yeah, that's what you gotta do. If you're bad, doesn't matter. Not important. As long as you love doing it, you'll keep doing it, and you'll keep getting better. Just the act of doing it will make you better. Yep, it's the most important thing is that you're doing it yourself. You have improved, Luna. I've seen. I've been able to tell just from over the time you've been on the server that you've been improving. I can tell. But yeah, so I'm really happy to hear that you're doing your own art. And again, do it as much as you can. Just love the process. Also, this background is a little bit messed up. I don't care. It can be a little wonky. This ain't for production. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's totally fair. Another thing totally fine to do, use references. That's honestly something I could do more of myself. Well, that's the thing. People come up with stuff easily because they've already practiced using references and basically have built up their knowledge base. Like, if you just study enough stuff, reference enough things, that'll all kind of go into your visual vocabulary, and then you'll be able to use that later. And even then, like, professional artists who are doing like actual character designs for things, they're not coming up with that, just off top of their head. They're also referencing things. They will put together big reference books of like, okay, here's, what I want to look at, and then I'll draw from that. Yep. Learning drawing perspective takes years. It's all good. And yeah, it's fine to start with, like little character generators or stuff like that, like the Sonic Creator and stuff like that. It's fine to repurpose OCs. I've done that for some story stuff where I had like a character I was using for like a fan fiction, and I'm like, I don't think I have to keep them to the fan fiction. I'll use them elsewhere. And I've done that in the past. Or attempted to, at least. But yeah, especially if you're starting out, using references is totally fine. Honestly, the best way to practice is to just draw stuff from real life. Especially if you're doing like backgrounds, if you're really intimidated by backgrounds, just go outside and draw what you see. You can do it from nature, in a park, at the mall, your own house, your own bedroom, whatever. It's all good. Heck, I found one of the best ways to just practice that kind of stuff is don't even do it with pencils. Just go with a pen. Just go with a pen and just, like, you know, pay attention to what you're looking at and kind of, like, copy what you see in real life on paper. Yeah, tracing from other art, another good way to practice, especially if you're just starting out. I would say don't go around sharing that kind of stuff that you trace from other artists, because that can be a little prickly. But again, if you're just doing it to practice, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just give it like, hey, I traced from this thing. Like, in terms of practice, tracing is fine. People used to get mad about that, but like, as long as you're not like, this was my idea, then like, you're fine. It is fine for practicing. Yeah, exactly. The reason why, like, it's good to draw with a pen, especially if you're just starting out, is that, like, you don't second guess yourself. You can't do that anymore because, like, what you put down is what you got. So it's good for building confidence. Like, when I was first drawing a bunch, I would usually just use an ink pen. I wouldn't use a pencil that often. Yeah, exactly. That's good. That's good. I'm very happy to hear that you are on the path to making your own work and practicing and trying it yourself, because art is worth doing just for its own sake. That's why I try and take care of my body now too, so I can keep doing it, because it's like, I don't know, like as an artist you get to this point where like I have to do it. It's like breathing. Yeah, that's often how it is. It's like you trace things, then you just reference them, then, you know, do it from memory, then imagination. That's often like a good way to build your vocabulary and muscle memory. And certainly if you want like a certain kind of look, referencing can definitely help. And if you build from a large library of references, you can get cool things going on. I need to do more live drawing again, but I'm always so busy. That's the main problem with doing art professionally, is you're so busy like doing it for actual like work that there's not much time to study. Whoop. I used to study a lot more often when I was in school, but alas. Okay. I think when I'm gonna take my break. I think I got some time still. Oh, I got some time. Basically, I hope that there are more, especially young people. I hope there's more young people out there that are being like, nah, I ain't gonna do no prompts. I'm gonna do this myself, because for a extremely wide and important variety of reasons, it is always more useful to do things yourself than to hoist that off onto a computer. And if you find, oh, I can't do this myself because I don't have the time or the expertise that I desire, then what you do is you find somebody who does have that time and expertise, and you say, hey, can you do this for me, either to work together or because I pay you? And there you go. Oh, I'm sorry your teachers suck. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just not true. I mean, definitely in art is not a guaranteed way of making money, but I think it's foolish to, you know, take because art is a skill. Art is a skill like anything else you can learn in school. And so if you have a student who's like, this skill interests me, you want to encourage them. So that's silly. Yeah, so you didn't, build the house you live in, probably. No, where did I go? Jumped to the wrong thing. Here we go. I mean, teaching is a skill too, and I say this because like both my parents are teachers. I was raised by teachers, so I'm pretty intimate with like what teachers have to do in order to teach their class. And the few times I've tried to teach art, it's so hard. It's really difficult to teach things. I don't know, because I haven't developed that skill the same way my parents have, and actually a lot of my friends too. I have quite a few friends who are teachers, because I don't have that skill. It's difficult, especially if like you're not doing it one-on-one. You're doing like a large group of people who all have different needs and wants and interests and stuff like that, and you have to like try and teach the same thing to like a group of 20-30 people who have wildly different like knowledge and skill level of what you're trying to do. It's really hard. Teaching is hard, and you do not get paid a lot to do it. So I'm sorry that you had crappy teachers. They shouldn't discourage you. If you had my mom for a teacher, she wouldn't discourage you. she at least knows, having two kids that ended up as artists, to not discourage the artists in her class. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I will say, once you get to be an adult, your time vanishes. That part of being an adult is sucky. You don't get nearly as much free time. I certainly wish I had more time. I'd probably get more Eldritchrune done on time. I do not. I gotta do things like, I have to go buy a mattress next week, which I don't want to do. It's gonna be so expensive, but I really have to do it. And I gotta do the dishes and clean and cook meals for myself and do my taxes. So you have less time as an adult, even if you have more freedom. It kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. You do miraculously have more time as a kid, which seems weird because you got so much homework and stuff to do. It feels like you have less. Feels like you don't have time, but you kind of do. Oh, that's a lot of stuff to do. They are really throwing themselves into all their skills. Goodness gracious. Some people are like that, but hopefully they're taking care of their health too. You don't want to burn yourself out as well. In fact, I gotta take my stretch break soon. If you're not careful and don't take time to like rest as well, you can hurt yourself. I did it to myself, and Toby Fox did it to himself, which I really wish people would remember that. I'm like, y'all, he's basically working with a disability now because he has the same thing I do, which is, hurt wrist from overwork. So even as you try a lot of things when you're young, make sure you take care of your body. Go exercise, go stretch, eat well, get sleep. There's plenty to do. Yeah, I don't understand griping on social media. Like, I ain't got time for that. I got stuff to do. Oh, he probably has ADHD then. Basically, if they're in a situation where like they will hyper focus on stuff for too long and then kind of neglect everything else to the hyper focus thing, then they probably have. Well, Asperger's is related to autism, but that's kind of a bit more social thing. Because, like, I'm probably... Yeah, he probably has ADHD because, like, I'm probably on the spectrum myself. I'm probably more on the autism side because I'm the kind of person who's like, I really, really, really like my routines. I do not like it if routines are stuff I, have a hard time socializing in real life. All that kind of stuff. It's hard for me to, pay attention to people kind of thing. Like, I want to, like, remember people and, my friends and be nice and socialize, but that's a struggle for me. And again, I really like my routines. I'm weird about particular foods, and I am extremely project focused. Like, I will just go really long term on a project, as evidenced by Eldritchrune here going on years. I will spend years and years and years as long as I can do things by routine. Whereas somebody who's like ADHD, they're going to be like, I can't do anything but this thing. Like, I'm going to just focus on this for, you know, like a week or something, to the detriment of everything else, and then burn out on it. And I have a friend like that. I have a friend who has ADHD. I probably got a couple friends like that, actually. Yeah. Yeah, and then burn out. Exactly. It sucks. You if you can manage that, then it really does help, because it's not fun to like even though it's really cool to get into that flow state and just be like, I have to do this, I have to work on this one thing and nothing else matters and stuff. Like, the burnout part then sucks, because then you almost like can't touch it again for a long time, if ever. And that's no fun. We're almost done with all of our backgrounds here. Hello, Rouxls Kaard, Duke of Puzzles, welcome to the stream, where we're talking about being on the spectrum in various places. Hello. Oh my goodness, you're friends with the Duke of Puzzles. Yeah, I actually got to stop in just a little bit. I think now is the time for it. And take my stretch break. Let's see. I got 2 more to do. That should be easy peasies. Alright, I'm going to stretch break now. And then we'll do one more session. Because, yeah. Yes. That's another thing I'd recommend. If you are starting out drawing, or if you draw a lot, pretty please, make sure you get up regularly and stretch your body, especially your neck, your arm, your wrist. Yeah, this is for the finale. This is, I think, chapter, or part 12 of the finale, a little bit more than halfway through. Again, these are easy backgrounds because this is going to be chock full of like a bajillion characters, so that's where all the time is going to go. Yeah, I totally get that. But for your own sake, like what I usually do is I set an alarm for 30 minutes, and I draw for 30 minutes, and then at the end of the alarm I get up and I stretch for about 5 minutes. And the reason why I have to do that is because I injured my wrist. I've actually done it multiple times at this point in my life. The most recent time being like 2023 or so. And like it gets injured bad enough that I can't use it. And I use it for my job and for, you know, these comics and for my hobby, and like I use it for so many things that not being able to is like the most soul-crushing thing I have ever experienced in my life. So to that end, in order to try and prevent that from happening again, I stretch constantly, I do exercises, I go to physio and massage therapy once a month now. So please, before that happens to you, take care of your neck, your back, your wrist, your sleep schedule. Please take care of yourself physically, because not being able to do what you love because you've hurt yourself from working too bad is just, I can't even describe how horrible of a feeling it is. So do whatever you can. How's my wrist doing now? It's alright. It was a little bit on the bleh side last week, but right now it's doing alright. I'll have some good days and bad days. Luckily, there haven't been too many bad days recently. I did have a spat like a few weeks ago where I'm like, oh, I'm having some bad days with my wrist kind of thing. But right now, it's not too terrible. But I still, it's like an athlete kind of thing. You have to like take care of your body. It's kind of a permanent injury, yeah. I don't think it's ever gonna feel the same way it did before I got injured. I will always have the sense of like kind of a coldness in my wrist, or in my fingers, or in my arm kind of thing. And it's literally just because from overworking the muscles that presses against the nerve, certain like the ulnar nerve that runs up to like my pinky and my ring finger, and that pressure then causes pain and coldness and stuff like that. So it's pretty much I have to mitigate it for the rest of my life, and I do that with constant stretching, with exercises, with stuff like that, because you got to keep those muscles limber. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch because I gotta do some of them against the wall and stuff, and then we'll do the last session here. Alrighty, we're back! Yeah, no, take breaks. Okay, good. Glad you're taking one now. Again, it's fine to do your work. Just take breaks regularly, and like when you do that break, don't just sit at the computer. Like, get up and move your body a bit. That's mainly what you got to do is keep your body moving. Also, I just realized, especially I was at a furry convention recently, and I popped in on a panel where they were basically talking about, you know, how to deal with stress injuries and stuff like that, and the guy was talking about basically like, hey, the problem is, you know, when you do the same thing over and over, your muscles will compensate and like either stretch or compress into a certain position and then stay there. What am I drawing? I am working on backgrounds for a future part for Eldritchrune, which is the AU that I'm drawing for Deltarune. I've been looking at I assume you know Deltarune. I'm hoping you do. Okay, yes, Deltarune AU. So I've been working on that for a while. I did not intend for it to get this extensive, but it did. And so I've been working on this AU for it, and I'm working on the ending for it because it's like going to be a 20-part ending in the middle of like working on regular updates for it, and so I'm poking at that here and there. So right now I'm working on cleanup for backgrounds for it. This is, I think, part 12 of 20. So this is just a scene that takes place in like a fortress courtyard and pretty empty. There's going to be a lot of characters here later, but I usually do backgrounds first. No, Rouxls Kaard is from Deltarune. He's not from Undertale. I'm not much of a Rouxls fan. Some people just like love Rouxls. I'm like, I get it, but I don't know. I'm probably the wrong person for that. Same people that like love Spamton, and I'm like, I don't care for. That's my Family Guy opinion or whatever. I don't really care for Spamton. He's fine. He's fun. I don't hate Rouxls or anything. His boss battles have been very fun. I can totally understand the love people have for Rouxls. It's not one I personally share, but I get why people like Rouxls. He is, if nothing else, he is very funny. That's true. Like one of the funniest. I still love it. And so I have a laser pointer. The laser pointer part was so funny. We'll try here. Now a little to the left. Also, I can't voice him well because I'm bad at voice acting, but you get somebody who's like a really good Rouxls voice actor and it's just like gold. It's gold, baby. Same thing, I guess, with like Queen and Spamton. A lot of these characters, like, they have such distinct voices, and if somebody can nail it, you're like, oh, hell yeah. You're like, you got it. Have you seen the podcast survey program? They had an episode on Rouxls Kaard at one point. And a lot of it went way over my head because it was basically like Rouxls Kaard conspiracy stuff on like how Rouxls ties into this, and that. But if you're a fan of Rouxls Kaard, I would suggest checking out that episode because they spend like 2 hours talking about Rouxls and all the stuff he relates to. It was not. I couldn't really wrap my head around it, but it was fascinating. Yeah, the slightly nasally falsetto. I'm the Duke of Puzzles. That's awesome, you can do a good impression. I cannot. I'm bad at the voice acting. But if you can do it, that's awesome. Duke of Puzzles. I do wonder what we're going to do with him in later chapters, because he didn't really have much to do in Chapter 4 once things started getting really serious. I thought he would come back and he'd have a new weird accent, and he didn't. Unused. Oh, there was a Rouxls text blip. That's right. He doesn't really have a text blip, does he? Am I just remembering wrong? Doesn't he have a text blip? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. Oh, Black Griffin's still making music? Huh? I thought he stopped a while ago. He doesn't have a voice. Interesting. You would figure, of all people. It still is? Okay. I mostly know all the ponies' music. Horse famous. It's possible, yeah. It's possible. It does feel like, yeah, chapters 1 and 3 were kind of their own contained thing. We can tell they're different because of the battle music. We went from Rude Buster to From Now On. And if that's going to be our new battle music, that'll be like, you know, a thematic change between these sections of the chapters. Yeah, new shop theme. Use the scene voice for Alistar? Okay, huh. Fascinating. Fascinating. Well, at least he's keeping busy. It's in the pilot, not the series. Okay. No, Rouxls is fun. Also, his speech is, like, deliberately, crazy. That's gonna be hell to translate to Japanese, though. Like, how do you get across what Rouxls is saying for... I imagine they spent, like, a month just translating Rouxls' dialogue in Japanese. Oh, my goodness. Thinking about it now. Kris fan music? Okay. I'm not surprised. That was the ponies' music was a pretty good niche for him. Yeah. That probably does help that Toby can speak Japanese. Even if I spoke Japanese, I don't know how I would translate those ideas between languages, but I ain't the one doing it, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I know he voiced Jevil. They're working on the Japanese translation for Chapter 5 right now! Holy crap! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. I think everybody forgot about Jevil. People are like, is Jevil gonna come back? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't think he is. Not in the way that Spamton is, I guess. I like Jevil because Rouxls hates him now. I don't think Rouxls hates Jevil. I think Task Manager does, though. I will say, Jevil is probably one of Jevil is probably the secret boss I'd least like fighting. Even though I would die a lot more against the Knight feels like thematic and intense and stuff like that, whereas Jevil just feels exhausting. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you never know. They might do other translations in the future, and I guess there is always like fan translations. You can just do like a mod, but yeah, I can understand him being a bit of a control freak about. Okay, I want to make sure that my ideas come across the way I want them to. Oh, I love Garrison's fight. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite ones. And I'm not very good at it, but that was just a fun fight for me. I like that one. But yeah, Jevil's probably my least favorite. Oh no, dying on the last attack. Oh no. Jevil is definitely a test of raw skill. That's true. That's probably why I'm so bad. I'm kind of afraid that that's what's going to be happening in our final secret boss, is that if it is like a true Toho style boss that Zune is going to be doing bullets for, oh no. Jevil is chaotic, you could say. Whoa. Yeah, at least the Knight sticks with a pretty clear pattern. Yeah, I'm a little scared of what our final secret boss is going to be, and what that attack pattern is going to be like. I get the feeling that it is going to be like a proper Toho situation. Yeah, that's quite possible. Certainly Spamton was, I think, the easiest one. I can actually do Spamton first try sometimes. Yeah, they all use different gameplay. Huh. Oh, that's right. And Tina's like, where's my debit card? Those guys with the big guns want to know when they're getting paid. Luck be with you, heroes. Hey, speaking of Spamton, he's a fun remix. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to whenever I have to refight Knight, because I'm not very skilled. Oh gosh, if we have a fight that's, especially a required fight or something that's harder than the Knight, I'm scared. I'm scared. And yeah, I'm exceptionally bad at ERAM, because I'm not good at that old school Zelda gameplay. I just kept getting hit with the fire of the bombs. It is extremely funny to see Lancer just kind of like sliding along. You can walk behind us if you want. Yeah. I noticed you aren't doing that. I know. The hardest mandatory boss? Huh. Probably for me it might have been the Titan. I struggled with that one quite a bit. Titan was pretty tough. Which would make sense. It's a heckin' Titan. But I'm trying to think of anything else that would have been really difficult that's also mandatory. Oh yeah, Jack was also difficult. I don't know what it was. I struggled with Jack a lot. I think they might have nerfed that one a little bit too, which is good because I had to do that one over and over again quite a few times. Well, you should play Deltarune. It's a very fun game. Enough for me to make like 10 million AUs for it. For years on end. That's my brain rot. That's where the brain rot went. And you will find your own favorite characters. The characters that you love. I love Susie. I swear, like, after Chapter 3 and 4 came out, I'm like, my brain has done nothing but rotate Susie Deltarune for, like, 2 months. Do you know how to name AUs? The same way you name anything, really. I don't know if there's really a trick to it. This is the first one I've been where it's, like, I guess, properly named after, like, either Delta or Rune. Probably the really most popular or proper actual like AU. Mostly I don't really do AUs. Susie rules, okay? Susie does. We love Susie in this household. I like all the characters. I love me my Kris, my Rouxls, my Noelle, my Lancer, everybody. TV guy is funny. No. Yeah, I guess that is part of the problem. Again, just name it as you would any other story. I mean, I guess at this point, Paper Trail is an AU, but I didn't name it like something Delta or something Rune. It was just named after what felt appropriate for the story. His name is Tenna, as in Mr. Antenna. Mr. Antenna's TV time. Tenna's the one thing. I'm like, Toby, I wish you had gone with your original plan and made him a giant ant. That would have been neat. And everybody's like, he needs to just be a guy. I'm like, what if he was a big ant? What if he was a big ant guy? Oh, that's a fun name. That's a fine name. Well, we're going to finish these backgrounds real soon. Warning, once I finish backgrounds, and I'll pop over to character cleanup real quick, it's going to get violent. There's going to be some blood and some violence, because that's where I left off with the other thing. Watch out. Yeah, that's what I did with him in ER, because I'm like, finally, I can make him into a big ant. A big, scary ant. And it worked out well. Evil, disgusting gore! Watch out! Just giving you a heads up. Okay. Are we done? I think we're done. We're done! Ah! I knew these backgrounds would go fast. Let's mark them as done. Hooray! Now, these will be chock full of characters later. Basically, oh, do you not like spiders? I'm sorry about the spiders. Okay, yeah, we're popping over to this. Watch out! We're only gonna do this for a little bit, just because, we're almost done with the drawing sessions today, but I figured we would get through this backgrounds quick, so we're just popping over here real quick. How did I draw those? Lots of time and practice. Thank you. I'm glad you liked them. Again, watch out. We've stumbled into a part that's a bit bloody and gory, because this is a horror AU. It is much darker than the actual series is, even though the series can be quite dark. Don't eat my wife, exactly. I was like, I'm gonna eat your wife. Nom 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 nom. It was actually my mother. It's also okay to start out if you don't know anatomy right off the bat. The first comics I drew, when I was a kid, I didn't really know anatomy. They were mostly like funny animal comics. I did a lot of funny animal comics, a lot of animal comics and stuff in general. And my anatomy when I was first starting out was not great. Anatomy is like the structure of specifically human bodies. Like kind of what your skeletal system is, where your muscles are placed and what those look like, proportions. But again, if you're just starting out, it's okay if you don't get it, because human anatomy is complicated and it's the kind of thing you'll be studying for the rest of your life if you go into art. So if you do not get it right away, that's okay. Yeah, and one thing at a time. Although again, I think the most important thing is to like fall in love with the process of drawing first, and that'll help you learn everything else. It's the process. That's the fun part. Yeah, and also if you're doing animals, animal anatomy will help. But that's so many subjects to cover. Yeah, especially when I first started out drawing stuff, I was definitely like drawing cartoony animals. Yeah, don't have to worry about realistic proportions. I'm getting chomped. Oh yeah, no problem. 90% of art is form and light, and that's a struggle. Like lighting is so important, and I'm not very good with lighting. I always admire artists who like will do like these beautiful paintings where like the light just looks great, and I'm like, oh my goodness. That's not one of my stronger suits, because I do storyboarding, where my focus is basically action and cinematography and cuts and stuff like that, and you're doing it all very fast. There's not really time to like do nicely rendered art when you're doing a storyboard. You are basically kind of like depicting the art with stick figures almost. So my skill set then is developed into I can do a lot of things to convey an idea very fast, but I'm not very good at the patience to take a long time to render something. So I always admire people who just do like really beautiful lighting. Like, gosh, wish that was me. Yep, no, animation you pretty much by necessity have to you gotta cut down on how much you're doing, because if you doing like really nicely rendered stuff for animation, it'll be taking forever. It will not get done because it'll take forever. What is rendering? Okay, so rendering is what you would describe as like, yeah, basically polishing up a drawing, making full lights and shadows and stuff like that. I don't want to say it's just adding in details, because wow, see, this is why teaching is hard. Like, what's rendering? I'm like, how do I describe rendering? It's kind of like, I know what it is, but trying to describe what it is difficult. Yeah, no, Noelle doesn't like bones, but she'll make an exception here. She'll get a little crunch going. She's making an exception. In this one case. I'm probably not even going to be able to finish this page before I gotta stop, but you came just in time to see the horrors. Hooray! I'm sure the horrors will come up again in the future when we do like shading on this part, stuff like that. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best way to describe it, how light falls on the forms in a piece. Because basically all objects in 3D space, are made up of a combination of various shapes, curves and straights and corners and, cubes, cones. All that's basically broken down into like, infinity combinations, and how light and shadow works with those forms to like accentuate them, to show what those forms are, without necessarily line work is what I would describe as rendering. I focus so much on line work that I just don't focus on rendering very much. Being able to convey a shape without lines, just like with how the light works on it, that's something I admire. Yeah, rendering is basically just like filling out art in the sense that, like, I don't even want to say it's necessarily looking more realistic, because that's not it either. Well, digital art usually uses a lot of the same techniques as traditional art, even if the process is a little different. Yeah, exactly. Basically, if you're painting without line work, then you got to know your values. And I am not very good with values. That is a thing I would need to study. I admire people who can do lighting and rendering well, because I admire people who can understand, who have really good understanding of value. And my first drawing tablet ever was my grandparents gifted to me when I was a kid, and that was after I hurt my wrist the first time from overwork. So don't do it. It can happen even in high school. It can happen anywhere, anywhere, anywhere. It's just the kind of thing where, like, if you practice it enough, you'll get better. You can do anything better if you practice it. That's the power of human. Who are you drawing? It's Carol. It's Carol Holiday getting eaten by Noelle in this AU. This is, again, a horror-based Eldritch AU where many of the main characters are big scary monsters. Not Kris, though. But this is like a scene from the ending. Yeah, in this case, she does deserve it. She did some bad things in this AU, as she did in canon. But she getting chomped. I'm definitely curious to see what her motivations were and plans are in canon. We don't know for sure yet what they are. Probably nothing good. But definitely in this AU, they're nothing good either. In the AU or in canon, because they're different things. They are different things going on. Like, for this AU, a lot of the... Like, I'll use the characters, but the plot is not exactly following the canon plot. Especially right now, because I started in on this before chapters 3 and 4 came out. And I'm pretty certain that canon is going to diverge pretty significantly from what I do with the AU. That we'll be getting a very, very different ending. Both would be good. In this AU, she did a bunch of child sacrifice, including Kris, sacrificed Kris to a demon, and that's coming back to bite her, literally. And we're not quite sure what she's doing in canon, but she is definitely she's definitely an antagonist. She is our primary light world antagonist, and it seems like she is up to some seriously bad things and has roped Kris into them. I would definitely recommend playing the game if you haven't, because the game is extremely good and has hooked onto my brain for near on 10 years now. And get her dearness back. Yeah, we're not quite sure what's going on in canon, but we know it's not anything good. She's scary. She's scary. She has scary music the second she walks in. Yeah, that's Rudy. You never talk to Rudy? Why not? I like Rudy. He's so funny. He's a funny guy. Then again, usually when I play, I try and talk to everyone. I send Kris around like, Kris, we're going around town. We're talking to everybody. Get ready. Yeah, he's there. He's trying to be there for Noel. Not in this AU, but in the canon he is. My parents were never interested in video games either. I tried. They don't care. It's fine. It's fine. No. Whew. Excuse me. Just paste Eldritchrune Noel's face over the Saturn devouring his children. People just made up that title for that painting. We don't even know what that painting's actually called. It was just found in the artist room. Like, what is this painting on? I guess it's Saturn devouring his children, I guess. Yeah, Rudy is cool. He has interesting things to say. Why are they summoning demons? They are summoning demons because in this AU, hometown is under attack, or at least in danger of being kind of annexed into this larger empire, and they are trying to fight off this larger empire. Oh, thank you. Everybody makes fun of my sneeze. My baby sneeze. Every time. I feel like you sneeze like a kid. Yeah, you sneeze like a kid. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to do it. Yeah, honestly, this AU just kind of came up by accident because I was just repurposing a Susie design from another comic that I did way earlier back in the day, and drawing like, okay, let's draw Scary Noel, let's draw Scary Birdly and stuff, and then it just kind of spiraled, and then there was a story involved, and now I have to spend so much time drawing it because it just happened that way. I was like, oh, I'm not going to draw too much on this AU. Wrong. I have the opposite problem with my grandpa. When he sneezed like a freight train. It scared the heck out of me every time. Oh, want to see Scary Birdly? Sure. Well, I will, we'll show that real quick. He's shown up in other comics. But let's show the character card for Birdly. Where are you, Birdly? Here he is. Scary Birdly. He has sonic voice attacks and stuff. Birdly's been fun to do in this AU too. He's still obnoxious, but also terrifying. My beautiful child. Oh, Birdly. I'm glad you like it. Well, if you want to check out this AU, you can go to my Tumblr, which is listed on the thing. I'm just Lynx Griffin on my Tumblr, and there is a master post for all this AU on a pinned page on my Tumblr, and you can find all of the art there. Oh shit, I gotta stop soon. It's about time for me to stop. My stopping time's coming up. Yeah, the Eldritch Beasts are pretty detailed compared to, usual drawings for the Deltarune characters. Can I finish this, I don't think I can finish it in time. Okay. We didn't get super far on this. We were mostly doing the backgrounds today, but at least the backgrounds are done. Let's flip over to a different page that's finished. Okay. Glad you're checking it out. Yeah, I did see the Kin one. Yes, I did see that. But yeah, sadly, it is my stopping time for now. We got a lot done. We burned through like all the backgrounds for part 12 and even poked at a little bit of part, I think it's part 5. Poked at, so more of that. Although next week when I work on Eldritchrune, I am pretty certain I will have stuff for the ERAM fight to do for that, so that's what we'll be doing next week. We won't be doing ending stuff. We will work on the ERAM fight, which, yay! I've been wanting to do that for a while, and that'll be a fun one to do. That's going to be a bit of a different one. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're liking it. I'm having fun doing it. Again, it's ended up pretty different from canon. Not my usual thing. Usually when I draw fan art and fan comics, I stick pretty close to canon, because that's what I like doing, but this is one where I've gotten to like just go way off the rails, try wildly different designs, all kinds of stuff, and it's been fun. It's been a fun challenge. I've been enjoying it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, yeah, Birdly is annoying no matter what. Nothing wrong with him. He's just annoying. Except now there is something wrong with him because he's a giant scary bird. But yeah, if you want to go check out the AU, it's on my Tumblr along with all my other Deltarune art, of which there is 10 bajillion things because that's how I fandom. I just stay in a fandom for like a decade and draw forever. Yeah, you can't take the Birdly out of the Birdly. He's even still a gamer, even though there's not video games in this universe, and they don't know what he's talking about. I'm like, what's a video game? I don't know. Birdly knows, though. Are there Darkners in this AU? Yes, they are. There are Darkners in this AU. If you check out the art for it, there's stuff in the comics. There's character art for them. All that stuff. Yeah, the Tenna chapter was fun to do. I like doing the Tenna chapter. But the next one we'll be working on next week will be the E-Ram fight, which also features Ram, so that'll be interesting and fun. And in the meanwhile, of course, I'll play more Portal on Friday. We'll probably finish it, assuming I can get through the puzzles okay and I don't suck too bad. But I'll do my best. But yeah, in the meanwhile, I must be heading off. I must get myself some lunch and various other things. As an adult, I have to do. I gotta go feed my lizard, who's being a cutie. And all that stuff. But thank you guys so much for stopping by and chatting with me, meeting some new people. We've had a lot of cool stuff going on today. Yeah, that's fine. Again, the Portal VOD I'll put up soon. I'll put it up today. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. There'll be more next week, and again, more Portal on Friday. And we will continue on. I hope that you guys have a lovely day. Keep drawing. Keep stretching. Keep enjoying the sun. Yesterday was a really beautiful spring day. It was really nice. Really needed it. But yeah, appreciate y'all being here. I'm going to go get some lunch for myself. And I will see you all next time. Alrighty. Take care, and I'll see you later.